You're welcome to this session, our dear learners and viewers. This is Teacher Robert, Light Academy Nursery and Primary School. I'm here to present a lesson in Primary 4, basically under multiplication. So in the previous session, we looked at the multiplication of numbers, right? But we want to continue with this multiplication of numbers by using a certain form. We talked about multiplication as being related to addition, okay? So in this session, we're expecting to look at multiplication as a repeated addition, just it has been written here. So without taking a lot of time, we want to first revise what was covered in Primary 3, Primary 2 probably, to see the concepts of multiplication in Primary 2. How do they help us to put out a phrase that multiplication is a repeated addition, okay? So we can simply refer to this. Remember earlier on in Primary 3 and Primary 2, you used this idea. We can look at some examples here before we go to what we need to see by this lesson. We looked at this in Primary 2. They could say, for example, 1, work out, or they would say multiply the following. Like A, 2 multiplied by 3. At a P2 level, a P3 level, the idea of answering this question was using the knowledge of the items, the groups, okay? This arrangement where we said 2 multiplied by 3, the first number stands for the groups, number 2 talks about the groups, okay? Then number 3, the second number, will talk about the number of items, okay? So in simple terms, if I said 2 multiplied by 3, at a P3 or P2 level, we were told that the first number will tell us the groups we are supposed to make. So in this context, we are having 2 groups. Assuming these are 2 groups, they have used these 2 circles for 2 groups. But in each of the group, I must put 3 items. I'm going to use the sticks. I've drawn up 2 groups here, there are 2 circles. But in each group, I'm going to represent 3 sticks because this is what is meant by that. So we shall, in the first group, I'm counting 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. The same goes to the second group. I'm counting 3 steps. 1, 2, 3 sticks, okay? So together, when I count all of them, the answer gotten is 6, right? So we could use this one at a P3 or a P2 level. That is the meaning. The same meaning is carried into these upper classes, Primary 4, Primary 5, and other institutions of learning. The concepts remain the same. Because when we say 2 multiplied by 3, it means I'm having 2 groups, but each group has 3 items I've used to count. So when I count all of them, they give me the answer as 6. We can give another kind of example still using that concept of P3 and P2. We shall say number B, the second one, I can say 4 multiplied by 3. 4 multiplied by 3. What does this one mean? According to what we were told and what is factual and what is it flow. This one means we are having 4 groups, but in each group I must have 3 items. So let me use these balls once again, or the circles like this. They should be 4, okay? They are 4, all of them. So in the first circle, I'm going to put, because they have said 4 multiplied by 3. We're having 4 groups, but in each group, I must put 3 items. So I've chosen to use the sticks. In the first group, I'm counting 3 sticks. 1, 2, 3. In the second one, I'm putting also 3. 1, 2, 3. In the third one, the same. 1, 2, 3. In the fourth one, I'm putting 3. 1, 2, 3. So when we count the total number of sticks in all of them in the 4 groups, the answer I get becomes 12. Meaning when you multiply 4 by 3, the answer gotten is 12. Right? Now, I just wanted us to use this idea of number of groups and number of items to understand faster what we call multiplication as repeated addition. What is the relationship between multiplication and addition? These ones are related, right? So we can have some other examples. They can say, question number 2. They can say, work out the following using repeated addition. Okay? The first one, let me say 3 multiplied by 4. Okay? They are saying, the question is being specific, they are saying using a repeated addition. So in this question, they want us to establish or to start or to use the relationship that makes it right to say that multiplication is the same as repeated addition. So what does this one actually mean? We need to use the idea we got from primary 2 and primary 3. Meaning the first number talks about the number of groups I must use. Then the second number talks about the items I must count. So 3 times 4 or 3 multiplied by 4. This one means I'm having 3 groups, but in each group I'm having 4. Meaning 4 is repeated for 3 times by addition. So this one is the same as having 4 plus 4 plus 4, okay? And the answer I get becomes 12. When I add 4 plus 4, the answer is 8. Plus the 34, the answer becomes 12. So this one tells us that there is a very big relationship between multiplication and addition. In other words, multiplication of numbers is a shorter form of adding those numbers. So 3 multiplied by 4 means I'm having 4 for 3 times. I've said the first number talks about the groups. The second number tells us the number of items per group. So these are 4 for 3 times. Okay? That is the first example of that kind. Alright. The next one, I can use another one. B. Let me say 5 multiplied by 2. Okay? The question is telling us to work out these questions, but we must use repeated addition. So we need to understand it. That's why I started from the groups and the number of items. In 5 multiplied by 2, what does this mean? This one means we are having 5 groups. But in each group, we must put 2 items, okay? So for this one here, we shall simply have this one being equivalent to, I'm having 5 groups, but in each group, I must have 2 items. Meaning I must write 2, I must add 2 for 5 times to mean 5 multiplied by 2. Because we are saying 5 groups of 2. So we shall have 2 being added to another 2, being added to another 2, being added to another 2, being added to another 2. I'm adding 2 for 5 times, meaning 5 multiplied by 2. So the answer I get when I add all of them, the answer becomes 10. That is using multiplication, or showing the multiplication as a repeated addition. I think we can see how things work out, right? So number 3, part C. You can also do it on your own. You can have it like this. You can say 4 multiplied by 2. You'll be in position to use repeated addition to work out part C, okay? However, there are some other questions that would come after understanding this. I can give another different question using this multiplication as repeated addition. They can say, number 3, I can say, complete, after understanding it, they can set such questions. Complete the following. Complete the following. Let me use this one, Roman numeral 1. They have said 3 plus 3 plus 3 is equivalent to dash multiplied by dash. Okay? When we are answering the such questions, they actually come when we understand the groups and the number of items. This question, last question number 3, part 1, they have said use the concept of repeated addition or using multiplication as repeated addition to complete the statement. The statement is written with numbers added. 3 plus 3 plus 3. What does this one mean? How many groups of 3 am I seeing? The first, I'm just having 3 groups of 3. So this one means we shall have 3 multiplied by 3. Meaning there are 3 groups, but in each group there are 3 items added. Okay? Part 2, Roman numeral 2 of completing. We can have this one. 5 plus 5. What does this one mean? Being equal to dash multiplied by dash. They have told us to complete the statements. The second statement has 5 added to 5. We've seen 5 added for 2 times. Remember, we said the first number talks about the groups. So how many groups of 5 are these ones? We are having 1, 2. They are 2 5s or 2 groups of 5. So we shall have it as 2 multiplied by 5. Okay? So because of time, we would have continued, but allow me end at this level. But after this lesson, you'll be in position to answer some of the questions that shall be given in the activity. Thank you so much for listening to this lesson. Our dear learners, these are some of the questions you're going to answer at the end of the lesson. I think you'll be in position to enjoy them. Answer them well. Hope to meet next time. Thank you so much, Teacher Robert.